A life can change in one moment. Power can change in one moment.
He gives you $5 million. He also tells you you're going to fail.
In front of Jay-Z. I realized something only in this podcast.
Today we had an amazing conversation with Anjula Acharia. She took Bollywood to Hollywood with Priyanka Chopra Jonas and took Hollywood to Bollywood with Lady Gaga, Britney Spears, the Pussycat Dolls, you name it. She's probably done it. She's just recently been on the cover of Billboard magazine. With her new venture, Junction Records, she's reshaping culture and business for women everywhere. There was a third party, Anita Chatterjee. She is PR baddie for Anjula, and she chimed in on some of the conversation, which we love. So enjoy this episode with the queen herself, Anjula Acharia.
Okay, sweetie. Okay, sweetie. Okay, sweetie. Okay, sweetie. Okay, sweetie. The Okay, Sweetie Show.
Well, alas, let's start at the beginning, shall we? So you grew up in the outskirts of London.
I did.
What was your town like?
Oh, it was very British, a bit sleepy. Actually, it's famous for being the home of Aston Martin.
Oh.
So it was like a very typical British like village with a cute little bakery, and it was so cute. But all of those stores have gone now, which is so sad. But it was like, you know, a British English town. I sound like an American now. A British English town. What is that?
Aston Martin literally could be the dumbest question I'll ever ask. The car. But was it named after a person?
Oh,
Perhaps?
I don't know.
I was like, maybe there was a guy named Aston Martin. And he grew up there.
Quite a good name, isn't it?
So it's kind of chic and like little dreamy and quaint and small.
I mean, I don't know that I would call it chic, but I like that. I'm chic and I came from there.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It produces chic.
Yeah, it produces chic. Well, it produced Aston Martin.
Yeah, there we
Nothing
go.
Nothing chicer than that.
Anjula Acharia. So
Exactly.
hello.
Damn. Actually, my fiance keeps telling me that I should like be the brand ambassador for Aston Martin since I grew up there, walking past it every single day.
Just saying, wink,
Just
wink,
saying.
nod, nod. Shout out for a collab. That would be sick.
Yeah, free car anytime. Good.
What kind of kid were you?
I was really quiet. Seems hard to believe. I was really quiet. I was quite shy. I was picked on and bullied a lot at school for being brown, for being apaki, which is a word that's sort of come back to the zeitgeist in the UK, which I thought we were long gone, buried.
I mean, I thought there was a lot of things that were buried. But
yeah, me too. But they all seem
back.
to have like come back, not for the good. But yeah, I was quiet and shy and easily picked on. My sister was like, you know, that was also picked on, but was like so much braver than me and would like literally pull people's hair in the playground and beat them up for bullying me. And she
older
was amazing.
sister?
She was my older sister. She passed 2 years ago.
I'm sorry about that. And
That's
then
okay.
You had a brother as well, right?
I have an older brother
have
too.
An older brother.
Yeah.
So you're the youngest.
I was the youngest, yeah.
And you're like getting bullied
Non-stop. Yeah, because I was also scrawny and skinny. I think when you're petite and tiny like that, it gives people the right to. It gives people the ability to think that they can bully you.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever stand up to bullies, or
No,
did your
God,
sister?
no. I was too scared.
So they just bullied you throughout your whole entire.
Yeah. But my sister stuck up for me.
Yeah,
She was really good. She was like, she beat people.
We read. So she was like winning the fights.
Oh, she was winning every
boys
fight.
and girls.
Anything. Oh yeah. She'd beat boys up all the time.
What was her name?
Anu.
Yeah. Shout out. That's amazing.
Yeah, shout out.
Shout out. So we either heard or read a quote from you where you said, "My childhood was rejection at every level."
Yeah.
Because teachers thought
I was dumb. The other problem is this is controversial, but one teacher just said that I was a dumb packy.
To your face?
To my face. I ran away from school that day. Yeah.
What was the scenario?
Well, because I was dyslexic, and some days I'd be smart and get it, and other days I was just damn stupid because I didn't get shit.
Right.
But I didn't know I was dyslexic, and neither did they. And we're talking about in the 70s here. I'm really giving away my age, but 70s and 80s. But yeah, teachers really picked on me because I wasn't in their opinion, very clever because I was dyslexic. Now I realize I'm madly clever.
It's like one of your best traits.
Exactly. I just couldn't spell very well, and I wasn't very good at math.
Who needs it? Then you have T9. We have phones who have autocorrect.
Now you have everything.
Jokes on them.
Jokes on them. Seriously, they didn't know technology was coming to eat them. Yeah. So I was way ahead of the game. But yeah, it was tough for that reason. And then the kids didn't like me because I was brown and I smell like Indian food, which now they all want to eat because in Britain Indian food is number one. Mm-hmm. So it's super challenging, and I faced so much rejection. And then my parents kept telling me I was an accident. So that didn't help either. Yeah, Indian parents are good like that. They're like
serious?
happy to tell you the truth. Yeah.
Were you an accident? Not that it matters.
Apparently
but,
I was, yes.
Like, so when you would get in trouble, they'd be like, well, you were an accident anyway?
No, they would just like joke and laugh and go, well, we never meant to have you. You were an accident. Like,
But did you internalize that at all?
yes. And also I always felt that my family were a better family when I wasn't in the room. Like, I don't think they meant to do this, but like, I remember we'd have like family meetings, but I wasn't in them. I'd be in my bedroom for some reason, and I'd see them in the lounge, like the four of them talking, my brother and my sister, my mum and dad, and I would come in and the conversation would just die. Maybe they thought I was too young for it. I never asked my mum why that was. But yeah, so I guess I also felt that, you know. And then my brother and sister were older and they went to like, you know, like camps and this and that together. And I was sat at home alone summer holidays. By the way, my very dear friend Chats is over there. And she's probably thinking, now I know why she has all this trauma about being left out.
Do you feel like now that you can reflect upon it, it was like in your head a little bit because of all the rejection? Because I had the same thing.
Oh, you
where
did?
I would... With my I don't know so much with my family, but with my friends for sure, whenever I would leave the room, I had this weird intrusive thought all the time that I was like, they're talking about me. They're talking about how stupid I am.
Didn't Mindy Kaling have a book about that? Are they all talking about me? What was that book?
I did read one of her books and I'm absolutely obsessed with her. But like, yeah, it's the same kind of thing. But now that I've learned about, what do you call it, like intrusive thoughts and just like anxiety, and you can kind of put a name on it, I'm like, maybe that was just kind of all in my head.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it was always in my head.
Yeah.
You know, I had a lot of time alone. I think I wasn't really allowed to go out because, you know, again, my parents were really protective and typical sort of like Indian parents. Like all my friends were having sleepovers and I wasn't allowed to go. Yeah. You know, that kind of thing. So I had a lot of time to be and then my brother and sister were cliquey and they didn't really want me around because I was young and silly. So I had a lot of time on my own as a child.
How did your parents react to the bullying?
You know, my parents were bullied a lot too. As immigrants in the UK, in a place where there were no other people of color or immigrants. We lived in a very white town. So I think they were bullied as much as I was, and they kind of had the attitude of like, get over it.
Yeah.
You know, but I do worry about this generation of how, you know, kind of mollycoddled. That's not an American word, is it? Do you know
but
that
I
word?
like it.
Okay,
mollycoddled.
Mollycoddled. It's like, you know, being overprotective. Not overprotective. I don't think anyone's overprotective. I think it's just a very different time and culture about how you raise your children. Yeah. But we were kind of left to our own devices, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I spent the whole day in the forest and my mom and dad didn't know where I was. Yeah. You know, playing with worms and things. Like, God knows what could have happened to me. Yeah. Fortunately, nothing did. But, you know, chasing birds and doing stuff like that.
My mom was like, go play in the street.
Yeah, I played in the street. Yeah. We all played in the street.
You had to.
Yeah. You look too young to have played in the street.
Yeah, my mom was like on the edge. She's like, it's borderline inappropriate for her to tell me that. And you spent a lot of time dreaming. Yeah. Tell me about that.
You know, now I'm kind of more in my spiritual being and phase. I didn't know it then, but because I had a lot of time on my own, and I used to do this really weird thing that I used to sit on my windowsill between the window and the curtain so no one could find me and see me. And I would just look out at the stars like every single night, and I would just imagine what my life would be. And I always imagined my life would be in America, and I imagined I would be working in Hollywood. I actually thought I was going to be Michael Jackson's manager. Like, that's who I thought I was going to be. I mean, because I wanted to protect him. I felt so sorry for him. Yeah. Back then.
Yeah, back then.
back then. And I just thought he was this really, like, poor kid that, like, you know, and I knew about, like, his dad, and I don't know how I knew about that. But yeah, I was like, I'm going to be, you know, like Michael Jackson's manager, and I'm going to take care of him. But then, you know, I started getting into acting, and I guess that was my alter ego, and that was my way to not be shy. Mm-hmm. You know, and I don't think deep in my soul I'm a shy person. I think I was bullied and I was treated badly, and, you know, it became my protective barrier. So I don't think that was innately who I was. I think your circumstances often dictate how you are, you know.
You put up a protective mechanism because you're getting made fun of for being yourself.
Correct.
Did you have friends growing up?
I did, but, you know, because I was brown, I was never very popular. Yeah. Like, and, you know, the boys didn't like me. I remember once I had this crush on this boy, and he kind of liked me a bit, I think, and then So then everyone made fun of him for liking me. So after that, he did not like me ever again.
It's like fucking brutal.
No, people were brutal. People were so mean. They were like, "You like the Packy girl." That's what they'd say to her.
I mean, the most amazing thing about you to me is that your story is the story of a girl who faced rejection at every single level from her parents, teachers, your siblings stood up for you, but like kids in your
But they didn't with my siblings, by the way. They didn't want me around because I was young and pesky.
Right.
But my sister wouldn't put up with anyone beating me up at school, for sure.
Yeah, so like in some ways they contributed it too. And
Right.
then you come from being this kind of scared, insecure girl for fair reasons to being this person that you would sit and dream about, and your life like lived up to all the dreams.
So, I mean, I can get into it. There was a journey.
Get into it, yeah.
It's a journey that happened. But I think, just sort of going back to one of the other reasons why I realized I was treated the way I was as in the whole like Packy and all of that stuff, was because we were never represented in the media, right, in television.
Yeah.
And any time we were, it was a kind of gross stereotype of who we were. So people judge me and my family based on this one limited, sort of storyline
Right.
that they would see on TV about
Stereotype
of our people. So I realized really early on, I only realized this now, well, obviously in the last sort of like 20 years, that I had this shift in my brain going, oh, television is responsible for the way I'm treated. So I realized that for the way I was going to be treated to change, I would have to change that. Mm-hmm. So somewhere in my psyche, conscience, like there was a thing that I had to change television, and I had to represent people that looked like me.
In your kind of in your teenage
Yeah,
years?
yeah.
And that was unconscious thought, or was that a conscious thought? And like
No,
that was
it
your
was
mission?
conscious, but I didn't see it as media portrayal, stereotypes. I didn't see it the way I can articulate it now.
Yeah.
I just saw it as like, oh, people are mean to me because TV shows these terrible storylines about us.
Yeah.
I don't even think I used the word storylines in my head. I was just like, they're just these horrible, stories. Like,
But do you realize how amazing it is that? And sorry if compliments make you uncomfortable, but like.
no, bring them on.
You're like, I actually love them. Same. It wasn't that you wanted to assimilate to become something. Like, did you?
Oh, that's a great thought. By the
right?
way.
Like, you didn't want to assimilate to become to get approval from people. You wanted
Them
the
to-
world to reflect your reality,
She's brilliant.
which is uncommon.
I have never articulated it like that, but that is wow. Like, yes. I mean, for the longest time I assimilated, right? I just tried to make myself white, but the reality is I couldn't be, right? I'm just too brown for that.
Yeah.
But that's so beautiful. Yeah, I wanted the world to just accept me as I am. I didn't want to change. I didn't realize that at that time.
Was it easier when you came to America?
Yeah, much easier.
So you come to America for college?
No, well, I did. Yeah, I did come to America for college. I did a semester here at University of Rochester. So my first sort of real trip here. And the reason I loved it was because I didn't realize that I was dyslexic until I came here. And then I did a creative writing course, and I kept getting A's. And I went to the
Go off.
I went to the teacher. Her name was Georgia Newsmith. Big up to her if she ever listens to this.
Yes.
I said, why did you keep giving me A's? And she was like, why are you asking me that? Your work's brilliant. And I was like, well, I've never gotten an A. And she goes, well, is that because people aren't marking you with the knowledge that you're dyslexic? And I said, I'm what lick? Like,
Whoa.
I was like, what are you talking about? And then she got me all the tests, and I realized I was dyslexic.
Oh my God, and how is that?
But I didn't know.
Was it immediately like breath of fresh air?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I was like, I'm not stupid. Oh, how nice to suddenly think you're not stupid anymore.
You're like, I thought I was smart this whole time, but everyone's been telling me that I'm not.
I was like, I know, deep in my heart, I'm really quite clever, but everyone keeps telling me I'm not. And then this woman comes along and says, actually, you are clever. You just have this thing.
Yeah. That's kind of my theory, where everyone's telling you that you're stupid, everyone's telling you that you don't belong, but like somewhere deep down you probably knew that you were smart and were capable, even though there's obviously so many voices in everyone's head that's like, you're not enough, you're amazing, like whatever it is. And then you're now this like person who's literally changing culture. So getting to that point, you have to of shedding that past shameful self. I was just have been wondering, is it like a compounded thing of a teacher like that, and then the nod of approval from someone like Jimmy Iovine.
Definitely. Look, she opened a whole doorway for me. Like, it's like, you know, your life is a certain way, and then suddenly someone opens this great, massive door.
Yeah.
And you get to walk through it.
Yeah.
Right? And I walked through it with like my head up high.
Wow.
And I was like, I am not stupid. How nice. And then I was writing like crazy. I was writing everything. And, you know, she really changed my life. I'm so grateful for her.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then I went back to England, and I wanted to break into theatre or television, but it was super limited for a brown actress. And quite frankly, I always knew I wanted to be rich as well. So I was just like, I'm not going to be a poor actress. Like, that's not who I am.
It's not like, okay, I'm, like you said, I'm not going to go to Hollywood, make it big. It's so funny that was just like, it just wasn't for you.
Yeah. So I made that decision really quickly. And then I went into sales, and because I was so good at acting and so good at improvisation, which was my skill, I was really good at improv. So even though I'd be in these sales pitch, shitting myself, I would act like I was not. Like, I'd act like I was so confident. And, you know, it's so funny. I say to anyone that goes to drama school now, if you've got to get through school, go and sell, like go and do telesales, because you can just assume a character. And I actually got myself through university selling properties in England in a real estate agent firm. And, you know, every day when I would go into that, I'd be a different person. I'd see the person that walk in the door and I'd be like, what kind of person would be interesting to that kind of person? And then I would change. I was a chameleon.
The strategies. You are, like we said, one clever woman.
Thank you.
And even the improv type of thing. Like, why is improv good for sales?
Oh, because you can be anyone. Like, the thing you have to do really quickly in life, right? If you're trying to sell something, if you're trying to get a deal, if you're trying to negotiate something, you have to get yourself on the level of that person, right? And you've got to figure out in 2 seconds who that person is and what's going to be interesting to them. It's not about you, it's about them. You want the deal. So what I do is assess that person really quickly, and then you might say it's fake. You might say, oh, you're fake. But I don't think so. I think it's, you know, you have a limited amount of time, to generally 1 hour of a meeting, to build a relationship with someone. So you build that relationship super quickly, knowing who they are and what's interesting to them.
So how, like, going into it, asking them a ton of personal type of questions?
No, I mean, again, you got to read the person and see if they're into the type of personal questions. You know, some people might not be and don't want to reveal anything about themselves personally. It's such a good question, because you are trying to understand how I do it. I don't know how I do it, actually. I would talk about Jimmy Iovine for a second.
Yeah. Because that's it's all part of it.
Yeah, because that meeting that I had with him, which was a 15-minute meeting, changed my entire life.
So first off, let's just set the scene. Jimmy Iovine is the co-founder of Interscope Records and Beats by Dre.
Yeah.
And at first you had a meeting with him for Desi Hits.
Yeah.
Which is
my first startup.
First startup, podcast / music.
Yeah, Desi Hits was like a platform for news, music, movies, TV, anything from Bollywood to Hollywood.
Goes viral. Actually, tell us a story about how you got the first $1 million.
Oh,
too, because that's a good story.
It's so crazy. No, so me and my ex-husband, we did this podcast, and this is going back 20 years, right? When podcasting wasn't even a thing.
You're ahead of the curve again?
See,
she consistently ahead of the curve.
Always come to me. So we did this podcast. It went totally viral. I remember we had like 250 downloads. And at that time, I was in executive recruitment working with venture capitalists, and I happened to mention it to one of the partners that I got this podcast. It went completely viral. And he was like, do you mind sending me the iTunes report? I'd just love to see it. I didn't think anything about it. I really liked that partner at that fund. I was just like, sure. I sent it to him. The next day he sent me an exploding term sheet for $1 million. So
you weren't even trying to make it a business.
And that is one thing I will tell you about raising money. I'm never trying. And I know that sounds insane, but like, I raise money without even trying. That is just a weird thing that people want to give me money. It's happened through my entire life.
It's like an amazing quality.
It is an amazing quality. But can I tell you something? I've let a lot of people down and depressed them because I don't want to take their money.
That's iconic. That's actually iconic.
It sounds nuts. Now I'm going to sound people.
Well, but it doesn't, because now with what you've done in your career, like, of course it makes sense.
But it was happening from the beginning, by the way, when I had no track record. People wanted to give me money.
What do you think it was about
I have
you?
no idea. I swear I don't.
Just like maybe your genuine heart is people can tell?
I don't know. The only thing I could say, I think maybe it's just karma. Maybe I gave people a lot of money in my past lives, and now people want to give it to me.
Yeah. No, and I'm on the same plane as you with the spirituality, like magic stuff, so we can get into that. But first, so then you have a meeting with Jimmy Iovine.
Oh, yeah.
He cancels on you. You go from San Francisco to LA. He cancels on you. You leave. You make another you raise another $5 million for Desi Hits. You're killing it at this point. Now, please tell me about the actual first time you meet.
Yeah. So you just said something which is really important. I was killing it.
You were killing it.
Because I'd gone to LA. He cancelled on me because he had to meet Gwen Stefani, apparently.
Whatever,
She was more important than me, clearly. So I go back to Silicon Valley, but I'm like, I'm going to go and raise that money. So I went and raised that money like that. Like, I closed that $5 million. And then I'm with the fund that introduced me to Jimmy in New York. His name is Drew Lipsher, and he was at Greycroft. And he goes, Ange, did you ever meet Jimmy? And I go, no, that's why I never took your time sheet, because I went somewhere else because I didn't meet him because he canceled on me. And he just laughed, and he's like, you got to meet Jimmy. And I was like, oh, I don't care, like, blah, blah, blah. And he was like,
I don't need Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly, I don't need Jimmy. I was like, I don't care. And he goes, Anjula, you need to meet Jimmy. So he texts Jimmy. And Jimmy's now I know Jimmy's so sweet, right? And he's like, okay, yeah, set it in the diary. So I get a call from his assistant. She's like, you got 15 minutes with Jimmy. So I look at Drew and I go, 15 minutes? Like, what am I going to go all the way to Santa Monica for 15 minutes? He goes, Anjula, if you guys get on and he likes you, you'll be in there for 4 hours. How long was I in that meeting?
She was in there for 4 hours.
I was in there for 4 hours.
But what was it about you that made you last the 15 minutes?
So here's what I realized the moment I met Jimmy Iovine. And if he ever listens to this podcast, I'm going to die. I knew Jimmy was the guy, like so many people in the music industry, that they thrive off FOMO, right? And fortunately, the day before, I'd walked into Warner Music Group and they'd done this huge deal with me, and I was doing all the rounds with all the labels. And so I knew, I could just tell he's the guy that would want what everyone else, he doesn't want to feel FOMO, right? Mm-hmm. So I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and like, blah, blah, and Edgar Bronfman's giving me this, and all these music industry people, and he was just like, well, I want to invest in you.
So you walked into this meeting.
And then I said, oh, well, I can't take your money because I just raised $5 million.
Stop. You're like, I actually literally don't care.
No, I literally didn't. I had to go back to my investors and beg them to let him in. And they didn't know who he was, so they didn't care, because they were Silicon Valley types. And this was long before Beats and all of that. So at that point, they were just labels, and no one cared for the labels in Silicon Valley.
Were you faking it till you made it for that one, or were you?
I was faking. Yeah, totally. I was faking my confidence. I definitely wasn't that confident.
How did you know for that? I would be like shitting my pants.
But I was shitting my pants.
Like, how do you know when to take on that air of nonchalance? Like, I got this thing going, we're all good. Just how can you have that keen sense of that versus, I don't know, showing up and being like super professional, having your spreadsheet and having your PowerPoint? Because
I've never been that person. I don't think people buy that shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to say shit.
No, curse as much as you want, it's fine.
I don't think people buy that. And that's never been, I'm such an improv girl. I just go by the seat of my pants. Like, I've never been prepared. I'm not good prepared.
Yeah.
That's just never been me. I'm not a study. I'm not a bookworm. Like, I don't prepare. I just go with what I feel in that moment.
Do you have intentional body language?
Oh, so this is so good. This is a great question. So back in the day, when I first started meeting all these really powerful people, and I was like, what I wanted to do was like, I'm so scared.
Yeah.
But I forced my body language like this, and I would toss my hair, and I'd kick out, and
I'd
be like,
chilling.
I'd be chilling.
Describe it for the listeners.
Oh, right.
Kick
So,
feet.
oh yeah. So I'd lean back in my chair, have my arms open. I was open. My body language was open, and I'd toss my hair, sign of like I'm the shit. I'd look you straight in the eye, like I would. It was very chill. Now, I'm not like that because, you know, I'm like a little bit more poised maybe. But I'm still very open. But this is my very natural state. Like, this is how I'm feeling right now.
So you don't think that someone, like, pre-proving yourself, if I were to walk into a meeting with Jimmy Iovine and go in with that attitude, he wouldn't be like, you're a douchebag? Like, you need me? You know what I mean?
No, because this is, I've said this before. We're living in a time when you do not know who anyone is going to be tomorrow. I was thinking about this, like Zoran Mamdani. He came to my Diwali party last year, and nobody knew who he was. And in 1 year, the guy's running this city, right? So it's like that, and I was thinking about how magical that is. That, yeah, like if someone comes in and meets you with some confidence, maybe they know something that you don't know.
Yeah,
you
the
know?
FOMO thing.
Yeah, but it's also like, where does that confidence come from? Is it because they know something that you don't know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So no, I don't think, I mean, Jimmy also is the kind of person that, I didn't know this at the time, but, you know, Jimmy is a talent seeker. He's always looking for talent. Like, that's his skill, right? Yeah. So he's never going to be closed-minded when he meets someone. He's always going to be open-minded.
Right.
It might take a lot to prove to him that you're talented, but the point is that he's a seeker.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think when you meet seekers, you know, I think they're always looking for some magic in someone.
He gives you $5 million. He also tells you you're going to fail.
Yes. That was like 2 weeks later.
Like, that's insane. And then you...
By the way, in front of Jay-Z.
Oh, my God. Yeah, tell us the story.
Oh, right. So he gives me the money. And he's so, you know, I'm his biggest fan. So I go to his office. I meet him. We spend 4 hours together. We have a great time. He comes to New York the week after. And we have breakfast. And he invites Jay-Z. And... we chill, we're chatting, we're talking about life.
We're chilling.
Yeah, we're chatting. So he said, I really want to invest in your company. And I go, Jimmy, you can't invest in my company because I just closed a round of $5 million and I don't need any more money. And he's like, well, you know, make it happen. Like, you can make it happen. You can do whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I make it happen and I say, okay, Jimmy, here's how I'll do it. I'll go and like pitch to my investors for you, but we close, no due diligence, we close in 5 days. He was like, I will write you a check right now. For
you don't have to tell us.
No, it was about $1 million.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. So I did. And then 2 weeks later, I meet him again at the same place. And we're having breakfast. And he's reading his New York Times, because Jimmy reads the New York Times every day. I don't know if he still does, but he did then. And he goes, you know, don't be upset by this. And I was like, okay. He goes, you know, the company's going to fail, but it's okay.
It's literally insane.
And I go, and Jay-Z's sitting right there. And I go, I'm so embarrassed, right? And I go, what do you mean it's going to fail? This is where my meek Anjula comes. What do you mean it's
the little girl comes out. She's like, no, you're bullying me.
Yeah. What do you mean? He goes, look, I know pop culture, and you're just too early. He was like, you're like 10, 15 years too early. And I said, Jimmy, so why are you giving me all this money and getting behind me then? And he goes, because you're an album, not a single. And he goes, you know, if Eminem walks into my office with a single I don't like, I don't throw him out the building.
Wow.
I tell him to go back and create an album.
Wow.
And that was life-changing for me.
Yeah.
Like, for someone to believe in me, even when my product at that moment wasn't viable. And he was 100% correct, by the way. Like, it did fail, you know. And he did not care.
What did Jay-Z say?
He didn't say anything. He was just sitting there listening.
That was something I was going to ask, too, is did you believe in yourself at that point?
That's such a good question. Chats, you were there. Did I believe in myself at that point?
Yeah, you totally believed in yourself.
Oh, I did?
Okay.
You have to believe in yourself. You know, it's kind of like what you told Priyanka, the
Oh,
founder
yes.
of ClassPass. So Anjula has, you know, supported a lot of, you know, women. She's been behind unicorn companies. One of them being ClassPass.
Yeah.
Who's the first investor. Priyanka is a good friend of ours. Kyle asked Anjula, you know, she had this idea and she wanted to keep her job. And
no. So we were rolling around with Daniel Ek at the time from Spotify. So it was like, you know, it was all these startups like hanging out, right? So Daniel was hanging out with us in
all
New York.
These startups at Spotify, ClassPass, like so epic.
I mean, that's the thing. We were all just like rolling around together. Like I introduced Pi. So Pi was at Warner Music Group, and what's his name? Daniel was trying to do the deal at Interscope and at Warner. So I was like, oh, you got to meet my friend Pyle. He meets her. He's like on the spot, like, do you want a job? And she's like, comes to me. She goes, do I want a job? with Spotify. And I said, no, you want to build ClassPass.
Yeah.
So she was like, but I could build ClassPass while I have my job at Spotify. And I said, no, you can't.
You said, no,
I was
you
like, if you want other people to believe in you, you've got to believe in you.
Yeah. Like, gives me chills. The thing with Jimmy Iovine is that, and tell me if you feel me on this. This is why I asked this question. To have a successful, powerful man like that give you the nod of approval, like from my experience, I used to work with, I was the secondeth to a guy who was like the hottest shit in the snowboard industry, which was like, you know, my whole community, my whole environment. And he like believed in me so much. And I really liked that approval, and I really liked that association with him, which in like a lot of ways is kind of shameful to say, because I'm all about independent women and like doing our own thing and not having to like have the approval and validation of a man. But like, to be so for real, I loved that from him. So I just wonder, is that the sort of impact that Jimmy Iovine had on you in any way, shape, or form, or was it like maybe healthier?
It was such a crazy time. And I was running so fast. When you are running a startup, we were living in New York City, we were doing this startup, we were just running so fast. I don't know that I computed it like that. But what I will say is that Jimmy was a massive door opener for me.
Yeah.
And what I was super conscious of was that I'd had this kind of godfather who was just opening these doors. It was so amazing being in Jimmy's office. And I aspire to be like this, right? So like he would go, I would say, yeah, I'd love to do a track with will.i.am. He'd be like, will.i.am? Hey, Will, do you want to do a track with, blah, blah. Like, I aspire to be that person that when I'm in a room with someone, they go, yeah, I'd really like to do X. And I'd be like, oh, no problem. You need me to call Pyle? I'll call Pyle. I was something about that I just loved. And it literally, I would go into his office every day, and that's how it was. Like, anyone I would bring up, I'd love to take 50 Cent to India. Oh, Finny? Hey, Finny, you want to go to India? Like, he's such a doer. And he didn't wait for a second. He would do it in that moment. And it's funny because Priyanka always says to me, when we're like talking, we're brainstorming, I'm like, yeah, hang on one sec. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm sending a text to the person that can make that happen. You know what I mean? Like, I learned that from him because I was in his office every day, and I would see him just make shit happen like that so fast. You don't overthink it. You don't it's so funny. I see my fiance, bless him. Like, when he's going to do something, he really thinks it through. Like, I learned from the Jimmy Iovine school that you don't overthink it. You just do it. Yeah. And see what happens.
Yeah. Because you're all about your mind having opportunity, not really having plans, but having opportunity.
Correct.
Do you know how do I know that I'm keeping my mind open to opportunities?
The only way you know that you're keeping your mind open to opportunities is that literally your life will be like this, Like, Chats will call you tomorrow and say, hey, do you want to interview Pyle Kadakia? And you'll be like, yes or no. And you might have had somebody else that week that you were going to interview, but now you're going to interview Pyle, and you're going to interview Pyle, and she might say to you, hey, I know this person or that person, or you should be in business with me because she's that kind of person. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like you're like, I didn't know a year and a half ago that I was going to do another label. I had no idea. I wasn't thinking about it. It wasn't something that was in my purview. Like, I got a phone call.
Certain level of spontaneity.
Yes.
So then how are you with control? You must not have that strong of like a need to control.
No, I don't think I'm very controlling.
Because I'm the same way. Like, I don't have a super strong need to control anything. And I think that like keeping your mind open, I don't know if I can identify opportunity, but I can certainly adapt on the fly if I have to.
Yeah. No, I don't think I've ever been really controlling, actually. I think because also controlling then doesn't allow people to flap their wings.
A lot of your life and success has been mentor, mentee, and now you're a mentor to people. So what are some of the things that you want your mentees to take away from you?
I think most of the time, like, I want them, you talked about this. You talked about like getting into your head. Like, you get in your head and then everything's jaded in that one moment. And I often say to my mentees, like, okay, what you are stressing out about right now, can you absolutely guarantee that in 1 year's time you'll be stressing about it? And if you can't, it's not worth this level of stress. And most of the time they're like, no, I'm not even going to remember about this in 1 year, right? So that's something that I always sort of really tell people. I think the other thing also is just, believing in the magic, man. Like, it's that thing about, like, a life can change in one moment. Power can change in one moment, right? Also, that whole thing, the wondrous of not knowing who you are. I don't know if there's a word such as wondrous, but just the wonder of, like, who you're going to be tomorrow. Even you don't know. Like, you could stumble on something so amazing and it could change your life. Like, that one meeting for me with Jimmy changed my life. And there have been other meetings that have changed my life, Like, you could walk into any moment and not know what's on the other side of it. But there's a power in that, and there's an excitement in that, and there's a magic in that, and there's a, there's just a optimism in that you have to carry with you.
You have a lot of stories like that have proven to be true. For example, the one of the guy in the restaurant. And he was in iTunes.
Yes.
Can you tell that one quick?
Yeah, I can quickly tell.
Because this is like an epitomization of magic.
Yeah, no, I really believe in magic.
And being a clever girl. Same.
Yeah, I really believe magic. So this is the very beginning of Desi Hits. We wanted to build an iTunes store. We kept trying to reach out to them, didn't get anywhere with it. And this was iTunes was the real thing. And I was sitting in a restaurant in Palo Alto, in my favorite Asian restaurant. And there was this guy sitting at the bar next to us. It was New Year's Eve. I'd had a huge fight with my ex-husband, and he went to Tahoe, and I stayed back, and I was with my friend at this restaurant, and they were shutting down. They'd shut the kitchen down. And he just turned to me and he said, I noticed you get on really well with the people here, because I knew the management. And he was like, do you think they could get me some food? Like, we're starving, like, we haven't eaten, blah, blah, blah. So I go to the manager and I said, do you think you can get them some food? And he's like, no, the kitchen's shut, blah, blah, blah. And I go back and they're like, I'm like, I'm so sorry, I tried, whatever. And then we just got chatting, and he said, I said, oh, what do you do? Him and his wife. And he goes, oh, I work at iTunes. And anyway, so he was very senior at iTunes, like one of the top dogs. And we get chatting, and I said, look, I'll make a deal with you. By the way, I had no idea that I would be able to make this deal happen, but I did have a really good relationship with the manager. And I said, if I can get you some food, will you get me a deal at iTunes? And he was like, what deal do you want? And I told him, and he goes, I could probably make that happen. And I said, okay, if I get you food, will you make that happen? And he said, yes. So I went to the manager, and he was like, I have no food to feed them, Anjula. I said, there must be something. And he goes, well, we have staff pizzas, and we have enough. So if you want to give them that. And I was like, oh, yes, I do. So I walk in, and I was like, it's not Asian food, but it's food. And we didn't specify what kind of food. And he gave me that deal.
Like, that's insane.
But that's my point. Like, you just don't know, like, everything you want is on the other side of magic, right? On the other side of fear, on the other side of something. Like, that's my point. Things can change so fast.
Staying open to opportunity.
Yeah.
When you say magic, do you mean, like, when I say magic, I mean, like, me and the universe are co-creating my reality. Are you as in it as me?
That's amazing. I wouldn't have articulated it that way, but yes, I agree with you.
Like, you can visualize, you can come up with something, the universe, like, is supportive of you, like, truly in that way.
Yeah. But I think there's so much around us that we just don't see.
Yeah.
Right? We got to be like, what they say, cats see in a different dimension. Like, there's so much around us that we can't see. But the moment we start seeing it, the moment we tune ourselves to see it, it's like frequencies, right? And like, that's the other thing about manifestation. You have to be on a certain frequency and all of that kind of stuff. Like quantum physics, and it's happening in a different dimension. It's actually happening. Like, okay, I'm not going to get that crazy now. But the point is, I do believe that if you can just train your eyes to see things or your ears to hear things. I mean, again, Jimmy gave me this amazing quote. Oh, this is a good one. So I would say, Jimmy, how do you see around corners? Like, how do you have this foresight to know what's going to be cool? And he would say, well, one thing, you have to use your ears in relation to your mouth. So you listen more than you talk. And then two, like, what is the constant conversation that people are having? So, for example, there was this big moment in Priyanka's career where I pivoted her from music to television. And I just remember seeing all of these diverse females on ABC dramas, like How to Get Away with Murder and Grey's Anatomy and Modern Family. And, they all had in common was Scandal, was a diverse female. And I was like, crikey, like, I was going out for dinners, and all people were talking about were those dramas. And I was like, that's what Priyanka needs to do next. She needs to be on one of these dramas.
Yeah.
And pivoted her career. But again, I was listening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's also, I tell people this all the time. When you feel lost, listen, look, watch.
Yeah.
Like,
You should know, in the research I've done with you, I wrote, that's like the first note in my phone right now. Anticipate culture.
Yeah.
You know?
But how do you anticipate culture? You anticipate culture by watching, looking, learning, seeing. Like, you have to observe. You have to be a big observer.
Yeah.
Answers just don't come to you. Answers are around you.
And that's part of the magic.
That's part of the magic.
Let's talk about this for a second, what we were talking about before, because it seems to be this like innate presence that you have. Like, you want to lean into presence with people. Authenticity, whatever that word's so overused, but like being in a room, getting opportunities, just like trying to connect to the human side of them. We were also talking about strategy in some senses. Like Anita was saying, Chats was saying that some of her clients have lowered their voice because they think that if their voice is too high, they won't be taken as seriously. Has any strategies like that come up?
So can I just say something? I realized something only in this podcast, that I don't overthink things. So I actually, and again, this must be an innate confidence, I've never actually really cared what people thought of me that way. Once I realized I was actually quite smart. For the longest time, I didn't think I was at all smart, right? Especially going through school. And that's why I have a real problem with schools, because they really don't know how to school.
I agree.
They know how to school one type of child, right? And beyond that, you're kind of lost. But I don't think it's funny, I remember like Chats, like she had this very high, she still has this very high-pitched voice. It's actually, by the way, you have changed it. I only just realized that. You have. That's
she
true.
hit puberty and
But that never impacted me thinking that she would be brilliant. Like, I wasn't impacted by that. And myself, I did have this one added benefit, though, I will say. When I moved to America, I had this sudden privilege that I never had when I was in England. And there were two things. One was people thought brown people in Silicon Valley were very smart, Asians. I never experienced that because people in England didn't think that. We were the working class immigrants, you know? So we never were approached like, you must be brilliant and smart. I walked into Silicon Valley and being Asian, everyone thought I was brilliant and smart. But then I had this other killer thing, which was I had a British accent.
yeah.
So not only did they think I was really smart, I was even smarter because I had this British accent.
And just immediately people fall in love. I'm a sucker for British accent. I'm like, I wish.
That's why I could never leave this country, by the way. Because I go back to England and I'd just be normal again.
No one cares.
I don't want to be normal again. I love being different. So I think that I came to Silicon Valley and I suddenly had this privilege I'd never experienced before. And I guess that did give me some confidence that I didn't have before.
I want you to touch on one quote that I read from your client, 5 Junction Records, new client, Nora Fatihi. She said about you, when Anjula opens her mouth and starts her pitch, you somehow have FOMO. You feel like you're going to miss out if you're not paying attention.
Bless her.
How do you do that? Please let me know. It's just something about your spirit.
I think it's like, I mean, look, when I'm selling a person, whether it be Nora or Priyanka or anyone else I'm working with, I really believe in them. So you are fucking missing out if you're not listening to me. And also with, I proved it as well. A lot of people didn't listen to me with Priyanka, and look where she is today. She's on the cover of every major magazine. She's about to have a huge year next year. She's the lead of the new Russo brothers movie. She's the lead of season 2, Citadel on Amazon. She's crushing. And quite frankly, you better listen to me. So yeah, it's just confidence.
Speaking of Silicon Valley too, can you talk to me about the way that they reacted to your failure versus LA, right? Because after Desi Hits failed.
Yes.
Which seems like another life-changing pivotal thing to switch someone's mindset.
Yes, failure in Silicon Valley is a badge of success. And I went with my head down and went back to the valley so sheepish, feeling like a total failure, and everyone celebrated me.
After your company, the first
Desi
startup
Hits.
failed, you're splitting up with your husband, right?
Yes.
So it's like the worst time in your life.
Ever, yes.
And Silicon Valley was like, what's next?
Yeah, my marriage broke up. My startup fell apart, and I was really not in a good place. But I went to Silicon Valley, and I went to see a bunch of funds, and they all offered me jobs. And I was like, this is really nice. Failure is like a mark of success in some ways, and I love the way they see failure in Silicon Valley.
Because it's just like you tried and you put yourself out there, and that's worth celebrating type of thing, or they just saw your genius?
But now, I look at my failure at Desi Hits so differently. It's a bit like Napster. Like Napster failed, but it built the pathway for Spotify.
Yeah.
It changed the way people viewed music. It changed the way people accessed music. And I feel Desi Hits was very similar in that way. Like it was too ahead of its time, as Jimmy had told me it would be, but it really paved the way. Like, me and Chaz talk about this, like just in terms of South Asian culture. Like I was just watching today, Tyler's in India wearing this sari, and J-Lo was there last week wearing a sari. And I started that trend like, oh my God, like 20 years ago. I put Pussycat Dolls in saris for fashion markets. I didn't do it in India. I did it in New York City at one of the biggest fashion events ever, and I made that statement that, and I got the most amazing email from this guy, this dad, who basically said that, his daughter like shunned Indian culture and everything, and then she was a big fan of the Pussycat Dolls. And she saw them in saris, and now she was like, Dad, how come you've never taken me to India? And how come I don't have saris? And then we did Jai Ho with Nicole and the Pussycat Dolls, and the Slumdog Millionaire soundtrack. And like, I was getting all these emails from all these people just being like, I thought India was so not cool, and now I think it's so cool.
And that's literally you, Anjula. That's
correct.
Crazy.
Right. So I'm just like...
Did people back you up? Like, were people like, yes, this is a good idea? Or were they like, we trust you? Because I remember reading or something about when you're trying to bring Lady Gaga to India and people thought it was stupid.
Well, because she just got off wearing a meat dress and it's a largely vegetarian country. It was a bit of an oxymoron. Like, people were like, are you out of your mind? Like, I was like, this is like, they don't eat beef in India largely. And actually, I think beef's actually illegal in India.
Wow.
Yeah, so, people thought I was absolutely nuts.
But you just didn't give a shit?
No, I really just didn't.
I mean, I guess like because the fact that you
I think because I'd also met her and I knew she was amazing, and I just was like, people are gonna love her.
Yeah,
like,
so
she's amazing.
I mean, I feel like since you were a kid and you like everyone's telling you you're stupid, everyone's telling you all these things that aren't true about yourself.
Kind of used to it, yeah.
Yeah, you overcame that, so you're like, okay, like bring it on. Let me just do another one.
Yeah, totally. Actually, it was the greatest grounding ever. Yeah, maybe that's why I was kind of like, okay, what do you tell me I was stupid? And actually, it was just dyslexic.
Yeah,
I wasn't stupid. I was dyslexic.
Yeah, PSA, there's a difference. Now we know.
Yeah, so now I'm like, when someone tells me I'm stupid, I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Like,
I mean, people told me I was stupid when I bought Priyanka here, but I tell you, Jimmy said the best thing to me ever. And he goes, so everyone was like, you can't break a brown Bollywood star in America. And I went to Jimmy and I was like, because we'd signed her together, like we'd signed her through a label deal at Interscope. And I was having one of my insecure moments, and there weren't very many. And I was like, Jimmy, like people are saying that I'm crazy. And he goes, do you know everyone thought I was crazy when I wanted to launch a white rapper? His name was Eminem. And I was like, oh yeah. You know what I mean?
Priyanka is literally your Eminem.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, screw you guys. I'm going to do it anyway. But yes, all through my career, people told me I'm stupid. But that's the thing, like, me and Pri talk about this, and it's like, I sort of get it now. It's like, she's such a trailblazer. Like, she did the impossible. She did what everyone tried to do and no one could do. So, of course, people are going to think you're stupid to try and do something so crazy.
To do something that's never been done, there's that inherent, like, you have to feel stupid. It's tough to push through, though.
I mean, also, like, when the person, the first person designed the airplane, and everyone was like, what, are you crazy? You think something that big can fly in the air?
Yeah.
And stay up there?
Yeah.
So
and they're laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, when people think your ideas are crazy, maybe there's something, maybe you should listen.
You should listen.
Yeah.
In those moments where, like, let's consider it the worst time, one of the worst times in your life, Desi Hits fails, you're splitting up with your husband. Do you still hold that steadfast belief? And is that which like, okay, I can, like, redirect, I can, like, make life what I want it to be, I can follow the dreams that I had when I was young. Like, in those terrible moments, do you still hold that faith, I guess you would call it?
That was probably one of the worst times of my life, because there were many other things falling apart. It wasn't just my marriage and my company. There were like many things I was going through. I was going through infertility.
Oh my gosh.
I was going through a lot of change in my body. So it was very personal things going on. And there were other things too. I had a lot of ill health in my family. So it was a really, really dark time for me. And, you know, I was going to this church at the time led by this pastor, Pastor Touré, who's incredible. And, you know, he said something like, there are times when you feel, oh my God, I wish I could remember the quote. Something like you feel like you're being buried, but actually you're being planted. And I just remember praying a lot and getting this kind of message, which was very much like, the world is not going to change, you have to change. So I made a lot of changes in my life overnight. One of them, going up to Silicon Valley and asking everybody for a job with my tail between my legs because I'd failed, not realizing that that people were going to be like, oh yeah, please come here, bring that experience, you know what I mean? I didn't think people would react like that. I thought I was going to be really meek and do it. I was ready to be meek and do it when I'd been so brazen and like, you know, and so confident, but I was feeling very meek at that time. But, you know, yeah, I really just think that I had to make some really dramatic changes.
External or internal?
Both. You know, I had to be willing to let my ego go and ask for a job.
Yeah.
I, for a while, was waiting for people to come and ask me for a job.
Yeah.
Like, and then I realized that wasn't going to happen.
It's kind of like when Priyanka came to the U.S., I remember you talked about, like, she was the Beyonce of India, and then you have to come and be like, I'm taking meetings with managers of managers and like...
yeah, you know, the thing with Priyanka, like, I remember dying inside. Imagine this, like, you're with the Beyonce of a country. Nobody else knows she's Beyonce, just you. And you're walking into, like, a magazine that she's now been on the cover of many times. And she's introducing herself and saying, you don't know who I am, but I'm Priyanka Chopra, and I'm meeting the assistant of the assistant in a cafeteria with her.
Wow.
You know, and I was suffering from heartbreak for her because, but she was so fabulous. Like, she had no ego. And there's been many times, Priyanka's actually taught me a lot of humility. There have been a lot of times when, you know, I've kind of been like, we don't need to do that, or we don't need to do that. And she was like, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, we're above that. And she's like, no, we need to do this.
No, absolutely. There have been, very specific moments where I've been like, we're above this, and she's like, no, we're not.
Okay, so recently you were on the cover of Billboard magazine.
Yes.
For your newest excursion, 5 Junction Records. Please tell me all about it.
Yeah, well, 5 Junction, I mean, it's kind of that thing, you know, 15 years ago, Jimmy Iovine told me I was 15 years too early. And then randomly, I get a bunch of calls from different labels saying that they want to create a label for South Asian artists globally. And I'm really good friends with Robert Kinsel, who's the CEO of Warner Music Group. I got chatting with him. He's like, you got to come and do it with me. So I went and did it with him. And I mean, basically, we're like no other label, we're there to, like, you know, build platforms for South Asian artists all over the globe. But also, interestingly, like, so I mentioned Nora's not actually South Asian, but she's like one of the Bollywood's biggest stars right now. Yeah. She's, you know, really crushed it over there. She went there as, you know, a total foreigner and just like, you should have her on the show, actually. She has an incredible story.
Yeah.
But anyway, she went to India, she crushed it, and now we're bringing her back this way. And she was actually born in Toronto. But yeah, it's really a platform for South Asian artists to go global. And I just want to build stars and find talents.
Is music really where your heart is, would you say? Because it all comes back to music.
Yeah, I think it is. I think the thing about music is just I see the power in it, right? It just has the ability to seep through all doors, right? Even when you don't see it coming. Like, it's films and everything else are bigger barriers, but music is like, it just seeps in to everyone's lives.
So when is the first, like, thing that we can see? I don't really know how music labels work, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I just launched a song with Nora Fatihi, which is called Just a Girl.
Just a Girl.
Just a Girl. Actually, no, it's called What Do I Know? Just a Girl.
Okay.
And it's with Shenzaya. Do you know who she is? She had that song Shake It to the Max last year, which was huge. So it was with her and Shenzaya. And we just actually launched it on the Jimmy Fallon show.
Oh, yeah.
Last week?
I'm so obsessed with Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah. She did a performance, her and Shen. It was really amazing.
Yeah, I saw that on Instagram.
So we're just getting going. That's my first track. And she's got a new track coming out in February, but we're giving this one some room. But yeah, it's really exciting.
Cool. I know exactly what I'm doing after this. To get ready for my big date, I'm going to listen to it.
And I'm just a girl. What do I know?
Yes. There was something else I wanted to throw in there, but I don't remember what. Oh, I just wanted to say for the listeners, like, Anjula is someone who knows everyone, but people say you know everyone, but you came to America literally knowing no one.
I knew absolutely no one. By the way, I don't think I know everyone. You know what I think? I know a few people that know everyone.
And you know what? That's all that really matters.
Yeah. So I know a few people that know everyone, and I call those people. But it was like when I met, like, not to keep going on about Jimmy, but when I met Jimmy, like, he fucking knew everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then I knew everybody because I knew him.
Yeah.
And he was always so kind and gracious to make those calls for me.
And he was willing to let you.
yeah.
use
But I
those
do want to
contacts
be
and
that
stuff.
person that can pick up the phone and can call anyone at any time. I really want to be that person.
I feel like you like probably are.
I'm maybe getting there. I don't know.
What do you think, Chats?
Yeah, Chats, what do you think?
She is.
Yeah, she is. I think at least 80%.
Well, Chats does often call me and be like, do you know someone? I'm like, yeah, I call that person for you.
Yeah, no, she makes magic happen.
Yeah. Okay, so we named our show the OK Sweetie Show because
Yeah, I did want to ask you why it's called Okay Sweetie.
we-
By the way, just let you know, I call everyone sweetie.
I call everyone darling, but I always use a British accent and say hello, darling.
Oh, hello, darling.
Oh my god, I'm so jealous of you for that.
But you sound very authentically British when you say hello, darling.
Thank you so much. I've worked on it. We named it the OK Sweetie Show because for us, it's just like our whole branding, you know, the 50s type of branding is to play on like nostalgia and power dynamics. And like, to me, I'm like, women have always been clever and smart, and you guys are just now catching on. And we're really into the way that there's barriers for women, obviously in male dominated spaces, but there's also benefits. Like if you can lean into your femininity and like figure out these strategies and ways to do things. But really, okay, sweetie, we took it as like kind of when people are dismissive of you or condescending, it's kind of like the, okay, sweetie.
Oh, I love that. Okay, sweetie.
Yeah.
Yeah, next
so
time.
we decided to, you know, make it, reclaim it and like make it our
I
own.
love
And
that.
Our listeners are called the sweeties, and we like have the like.
Can I be a sweetie?
You are absolutely a sweetie.
Okay.
We named this segment, we change it every time for the guests. This one's called Sweetie Hits,
Okay.
like Desi Hits. We're clever. They're kind of like favorite restaurant in New York City.
Favorite restaurant in New York City. By the way, you see, I like local things. I think I'm still obsessed with ABC Kitchen.
Okay.
Is that terrible?
I don't know. You tell me. Great answer.
Oh.
What's your go-to outfit to feel confident?
Oh, literally what I'm wearing right now. It's super comfy. It's a Ripley Raider.
Ripley,
Like,
okay.
yeah, my friend got me into it.
Yeah, we need a link in the show notes, like chic, powerful, but comfy, sexy clothes that we're talking
These are
about.
super comfy. Like I can't do that anymore.
I mean, it's a crazy move. To
I mean,
be honest,
you
for
look
me to
hot,
be
though.
wearing
You
this.
look so hot.
It looks, and I'm going on a date after this, so I was like, it works
good luck with
perfectly.
that. He's
Thank
gonna like you.
I think he's gonna like me.
Question is, will you like him? Okay, sweetie.
Okay, sweetie. Exactly. Don't forget. What's your go-to hype song before a big moment?
Well, right, see, it changes all the time, right? But right now, Just a Girl by Noura Fatihi, I'm listening to it nonstop.
Okay, we're gonna
Yeah.
link that as well.
Yeah.
What's one product you can't live without?
Spotify.
Nice. That's a good answer. Do you listen to podcasts on Spotify too?
Everything.
One South Asian artist everyone needs to listen to. I have a feeling I know who you're going to say.
Go on, say it.
Nora.
No, she's actually not South Asian.
Oh, she's not?
No, she's Moroccan. But I tell you who I'm so obsessed with right now is Ria Raj.
Okay,
Do you know Ria Raj?
No.
So you know the group Cat's Eye?
Yes.
So do you know Lara Raj in the group? The
I don't
Indian
know
girl?
the names.
Okay,
I
so
should.
there's a band member called Lara Raj. She's the Indian girl. Her sister is actually as brilliant as she is.
Wow.
They are both so incredibly talented, and I just saw her perform. Was it last night or the night before?
Night before.
Yeah, she just performed here in New York, and she crushed.
I always wonder like how parents can spawn amazing,
I know,
multiple
right?
amazing
Two
children.
amazing children. Like, I mean, it's like the Jonas Brothers.
Yes, it's like the Jonas Brothers.
Imagine having all those boys so talented. Like, it's kind of nuts. I always say that to Denise and Kevin. Like, I'm like, oh my God, you kids. I mean, how
You
did
want to hear something crazy?
Tell me.
They were my first interview.
No way. What? Who?
I was like
the parents or
The Jonas Brothers.
the Jonas Brothers?
I was like 10 years old. And they were like
Aw.
popular, but they weren't like the Jonas Brothers yet.
Yeah.
And it was the worst. Like, I was so awkward and like, obviously, but I was obsessed with Joe. Joe was my guy. And then I had like pictures of them all over my wall and stuff. Just like a fun little fact.
Oh, well, they're still very lovely.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they're great.
Are you happy, Chats?
Yeah, it's great. You guys both did great.
This first episode, you haven't talked about your psychic.
I know.
Are you have a psychic? Well, we're obsessed with psychics.
Can you recommend me?
Guys.
Going on Thursday.
Honestly, one of my favorite episodes so far. I feel like her and I really vibed. I love the way she thinks about magic. And sweeties, if you liked the episode, please like, comment, subscribe, follow us on everything, give us a rating, Tell your friends, whoever you think would brighten their day with this episode from Anjula, because I'm sure there's no shortage of magic to be passed around to everyone. So please tell your friends. Do all the things, like, comment, subscribe. We love our sweeties. Thank you for everything. Kisses, hugs. And there's going to be more like Anjula where that came from. So just saddle up. I do need to email them my psychic's number.